Welcome to Knights of Mandalore. We're back. I'm Jared.
And I'm glad.
All right, so we're talking about our on the Bad Batch retrospective, but something got announced today that is like a holy grail moment for Star Wars. All right, now here's what we're gonna do, this lad.
I haven't seen it.
All right, here's what we're going to do, lad. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to watch a short 1-minute YouTube video. Do not look at the title of the video.
Got it.
All right, you ready?
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm sharing. Now, hang on. Wait until I start the video, okay?
Okay.
All right, now you can look.
All right, let's see.
Wait, do you have sound? Can you hear?
Nothing yet.
Okay, stop. Do not look at the screen. Do not look at the screen. I have to redo this. Hang on, people, because this is really important.
Yes.
It's really important that you get the full thing. All right. Hang on, lad.
Got it. I'm not. I can't hold on much longer.
All right, hang on. All right, lad. Now can you don't look at the title of the video. Don't look at the title of the video.
At it. I'm not.
Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Okay. Watch this video.
All right.
Wait for it.
Peace is a lie. That is what the Sith believe.
Wait for it.
They promise power.
Wait for it!
Now they wield it.
Oh, wait for it!
We face the greatest Sith in generations. They must be stopped.
All right, they're remaking Knights of the Old Republic.
Is that the original one?
The original one.
Wow.
It's being remade, bro.
That is really insane. Like,
it is freaking happening.
Wow. That was just announced at the State of Play or something, or the Sony.
Yes. In addition to the Spider-Man 2 game and the new Wolverine game.
Wait, we're getting a Spider-Man 2 game and a Wolverine game?
Yeah. So this is going to be for PlayStation, but it's coming from PC. And luckily, I just happen to have just recently bought a gaming laptop.
Oh, man. That's so
I'm
great.
like, oh my gosh, thank Christ that I got a Windows computer.
Yes. Oh, man. That's really cool.
It's like, you see the cloaked figure, the lightsaber comes on, then he raises the thing and you see the mask. And I was like, oh.
Man. So this is like a really big deal because a lot of people started off, like, have played this game and learned about Star Wars through Knights of the Republic, eh?
It's freaking Knights of the Republic is back, baby. They could recanonize the game.
I know, they really should.
Why wouldn't you? The fans love this. All right, so I had to bring that up. I had to show you this so I could see your reaction. All right, so. Purpose of this episode, that just happened to come out today, the day we're doing the Star Wars show, dude. All right.
That is pretty cool.
All right. Hang on. Something fell over. We are discussing Bad Batch Season 1. We're a little late on this because Lad and I had trouble coordinating. All right. So Season 1 of Bad Batch was honestly a hell of a way to start off an animated series. Hell of a way.
Mm-hmm.
So lad, thoughts on Bad Batch Season 1?
Yeah, so we're gonna talk. Yeah, we're talking a little bit about the Season 1 of Bad Batch, and just kind of like our general retrospective, overview of some of our favorite parts about it. And I would definitely say it's the best Season 1 for any of the animated Star Wars shows.
Oh,
like
I agree.
I mean, obviously Clone Wars, as it progressed, got so great. But this Bad Batch Season 1 still feels like one of the later season of Clone Wars level of quality, just like really, really high up there. Obviously, season 7 of Clone Wars is the top peak Clone Wars anime, Star Wars animation. But I would definitely say this definitely beats out Clone Wars season 1, Rebel season 1, other stuff like Resistance season 1. Like this is definitely the best season 1 we've ever had for a show.
I agree. Rebels was kind of meh for me the entire season. I think it was good, but it wasn't great. This was great.
This was excellent. This was insane. Yeah.
So let's talk about our favorite scenes. My favorite scene of all is when Hauser makes that speech and a few of the other clones drop their guns.
Yes, that is really crazy. That was a really great scene that we still don't understand fully yet, but
the significance of that right there.
Yeah.
When they supposedly have the chips, that's mind controlling them, but that happens.
I know, dude. That's kind of crazy.
Oh man.
It really adds so much layer to it, because now we're like, well, are some of the clones losing their kind of like their mind controlledness, or like why does Hauser seem specifically so free thinking? What's the deal with him, right? So that is something we really need to explore more in the galaxy and kind of understand. And I wonder why. That's so interesting that they didn't resolve it season 1. That must mean it's gonna be like a really big thing if they're gonna continue that that plot thread.
Yeah, exactly. Because I guarantee you that's probably gonna be the main plot thread for season 2.
Oh yeah, that could really be. I mean, what he did is obviously leading into some sort of clone rebellion idea. Right?
Yeah, here's what we have to here's what really makes the scene big. It's not just Hauser. It's some other clones that throw their guns down. Some regular regs. If it were just him, I'd say, okay, well, maybe his chip malfunction stuff. But I'm like, all of them?
That's true. Yeah, that is interesting. I want to learn more about that. That's definitely I would classify that as kind of like biggest questions still lingering for season 2.
My second favorite scene is in the second to finale episode where we find out that Crosshair had his chip removed the entire time and is going after the Bad Batch purely because they left him behind. Because I think that was killer character development for him.
Yeah, I really like that. Like the second half or so of the season there, that was really cool. I was kind of surprised by that. What he was doing there, right? That he was, kind of gave him he kind of said, hey, why don't you come join me? Join the dark side's pretty chill, yo.
I'm on 3, right? My third favorite was seeing Scorch in the show.
Yes, Scorch. That was cool seeing, classic yellow there. And I mean, we gotta tie into it, all the kind of celebrity cameos, you could say, that showed up in season 1 was really great. I mean, would you say Rex? What would you say is like your Rex? I mean, well, who would you say is like your top favorite, celebrity cameo, that showed up in the season 1,
Probably either Gregor, Rex, or Scorch, because that was a big Republic Commando player.
Right. Yeah, that
was my game, bro. That in the original Battlefront were my games.
Right. Man, I mean, who would I put in mind? I mean, I really like seeing Cad Bane again. I gotta say that's on my list. That cannot not be on my list, because just the way they reveal it, he's like, okay, there's no way anyone could have done this work on someone, and then all of a sudden you hear Cad Bane's voice. Wasn't much work, and they pan up and they're playing the cowboy music, and then he's there with Toto. Yeah, I love that they have Toto 360 also there.
I'm so glad. You. I'm like, either Boba Fett misses in a horrible shot, or that didn't happen yet.
Yeah. So I mean, we all the celebrity, all the celebrity cameos, all the all the people that showed up in the season 1 here, they used really well. Stuff like even early on when we saw the Mortez sisters, they really redeemed them, made them really great characters. I loved that episode with them. Was good. That was a really good episode.
Yeah, exactly. That was great. And the battle droids.
Yeah, the battle droids there, and we saw stuff like Cutler Quain get to see, he was someone like that was like a free thinker right after he was, abandoned, right, and then he deserted. So again, to see him, his perspective on everything was really cool. Cad Bane obviously running around, even though he survived, and seeing him, hey, for him, Galaxy is much different. He's still, running jobs, making money. So that was really great. Getting to see all the Kaminoan stuff that was going on. I mean, it's kind of like even branching into just like the regular plot of the season, but just seeing all that like behind the scenes political stuff with the Kaminoans, Lama Su, Nala Se, and even Tuan Wei, right? Showed up for one scene. Getting to see them all talking, discussing about the Empire, what they're trying to do, what's Omega's purpose, the clones, all of that was so great. It felt so like, like, I don't know. I just love that. That was so great to see all that behind the scenes.
I'm going to give you my fourth and fifth. Fourth is the Kaminoan cloning facility that they discovered, where like they were supposed to meet Tan Wee, and then it's like you discovered they were cloning other Kaminoans.
Yeah.
And then my fifth favorite scene, because I asked Lotla to come up with 5. So I thought a long time about this on what like scenes would be in my favorite like list, and I gotta say, actually, one more of my favorite cameos was Harrison Dula.
Yeah.
That was a good. I liked her more than the one for Kanan, because the Kanans just sounded too much like a 30-year-old guy voicing a 12-year-old kid. I'm like, what? This is not believable.
Yeah, you're right. The hair, that was an interesting one because they really gave her,
and Chopper,
of course. I love seeing Chopper. Yeah. The hair episode was interesting because they did a solo episode just for Hera in the Bad Batch. Clone Wars used to do that where they would focus on other characters or the villains for a couple episodes, but Bad Batch seemed more central narrative and focus. So I'm really surprised that they went ahead and did this for an important character like Hera. But I loved it. It was really great seeing her, what she's all about, setting up her origin there, and then seeing her interaction with Omega and the Bad Batch was really great. You're right. That was a fantastic episode.
And then my fifth favorite scene was basically the whole episode where we got Republic Commandos.
Oh, you loved that, didn't you?
Because just to see that, because we never saw them in Clone Wars except for that one. Scorch made a 1-second cameo in the arc where they introduced Savage Opress. We saw Delta Squad, but that was all we saw of him until now.
Right.
I was like, oh my gosh, it's him! It's him!
Yeah, that was...
I think you were with me when we were watching that episode. I had to pause it for a second there. I was like, wait, is that who I think it is?
Yeah, it's like, it's your boy.
Scorch, I'm like, it's 6'2", it's Delta 6'2". All right, lad, what are your top 5 favorite moments from season 1?
Okay. I didn't know we're doing top 5, but I'll have 5. But I mean, I gotta say the first thing.
Give me a list. It doesn't matter how long they are. I don't care.
The first thing I wanted to mention for sure was every single time that Omega copied Hunter when he was doing something, like when he was sitting or thinking or like fidgeting around with something. Like every single time that she copied him was fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, as you were. Well, one more thing I want to add. My other favorite scene is any time that Tech goes, I thought it was rather obvious.
Tech, yeah, you're right.
That was great.
That was great.
And then that one scene where like I think it was Wrecker asked Tech, why didn't you tell us this? He's like, you think I know everything?
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah, that was Tech moments are great. I love them. just like he just like says something really complicated for like no reason, and then Tech is funny. I love Tech. He has like no, he says things very obvious, like very he doesn't do emotions. We had a mission, we did it, we got out of there, right? But I have to say, for like my number 2 is Sid. When Sid is such a great character. I didn't think she was going to be such a reoccurring character. I thought it was going to be 1 or 2 episodes, but Sid, like her whole personality, where she's kind of like bossed them around, but she still kind of cares a little bit about them. She had some really great moments in the season. I specifically love it when, kind of like, I'll say a specific moment when she like bosses the Bad Batch around. Like she'll like, Tech is trying to explain something. She's like, "Hey, goggles, wait, that's my thing," or she says dark and broody, or the muscles. Like she has like a nickname for all of them. Tiny for Omega. So, Sid did a really great job, and I really like the moment where Sid has to try to comfort Omega, and she's kind of been mean to her a little bit, and then she just finds something she's good at, and they work together and have a good little team up making money. So I really like that.
Yeah, I love that gambling scene where the Bad Batch walk in and there's like a crowd and they're like, "What the hell is going on here?"
They're just making so much money that she pays off their debt. I really like.
She's making it rain, bro. She's making it rain.
I know, dude. That was great. That was a great moment. I really liked the scene where Rex showed up and they were on the Venator, and they're just kind of just talking about Rex's perspective on what happened with Order 66, what he experienced it, saying how, the chips are dangerous, and just seeing Wrecker, go full, Order 66 was so scary to see him, because he's definitely was like the heart of the team, and see that it could turn him bad was scary.
I love when Rex shows up, when we first see Rex, and then he finds out they didn't take their chips out, so he has his hand on his pistol.
Yeah, right. He's not even messing around. Like, he knows how dangerous that is.
Yeah, but one thing I liked about that particular episode with on the Venator is hearing them reminisce about the Clone Wars.
That was really good.
All right, so what's your next favorite moment?
So next favorite moment. Let's see. I wrote down. I'll say like a combined moment. I really liked seeing like the transition that the Empire was making, from Republic to Empire, and how they kind of, there's some obvious things that they did, like with the new clone troopers / stormtroopers they implemented, some big obvious ones, but I like some of the subtle details they seeded throughout the season, where they, did the registration of the citizens and having a unified currency system. And we saw that like in Cutler Quain's episode, and we saw it again on like Ord Mantell, and it kind of popped up a few times, like a little detail like that, showing that, hey, the Empire's spreading, and they're actually, you can see this happening in real time, like a political event. So I really liked that kind of continuity we saw between episodes.
Yeah, I definitely like that, because they answered a lot of my questions on the transition from Empire, Republic to Empire. But I will say, one of the saddest scenes, I think, was when it was after they had destroyed the Kamino cloning facility. You see that one clone reporting to Admiral Stuckup, and then he kind of breaks up. He's like, the cloning facility has been destroyed.
Yeah, that was heart-wrenching. Seeing the clone is like,
I was like, wait. To make it worse, they flashed to all the different rooms in the Kamino clone, like the Bad Batch's room, the mess hall with the emotional music. So I'm like, oh, good, no. I half expected like Kanan to show up and save everyone. That'd be hilarious. That would actually, if they did that, that would have been, I think, a good full circle moment. Like they let him live and then he ends up saving them later.
Right. No, I think that's a good point. I think we can both agree that the Return to Camino episode was one of the best of the season. Getting just to
Oh,
see, kind of a little bit more information on what Crosshair, he got his chip removed for a while now, and seeing him giving the Bad Batch a chance, and that he actually wanted Omega. Like he said, Omega doesn't belong with you. It's too, she doesn't, she shouldn't be with you. You're a fugitive, so it's better if she just gets sent away or something. And just that whole episode, finally seeing the Kaminoans sent off, they're all arrested or executed or whatever. And like you said, that moment where they show Camino being destroyed and sinking to the bottom of the sea, that was like insane. That just represented like just the destruction of everything from the clone era, just like the Republic finally being, out with the old, in with the new empire, and just seeing Camino destroyed was such an impactful moment there.
I
and you can
also
see
like, I also like how from episode 1, how fast that transition starts, because like the order comes down, they kill the Jedi, then when they come back to like Camino, it's instantly like starting, and then they cut to that episode 3 speech by Palpy.
Yeah, I know, dude, that's crazy.
I liked how like even the last season of Clone Wars integrated with episode 3 so flawlessly.
It really, the first episode did a great job of setting up, like, first episode was a really high note. It set up the series so well. I mean, we could talk about that a little bit, just like how great that first episode was, the 70, the super long episode, how they started with the Clone Wars logo burning away,
and then they had the intro with the narration and everything. I was like, and the music, I was like, oh,
yeah,
it's the only one that had it too.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's like war, the galaxy in war.
Galaxy at war.
Yeah, and they did so many great jobs, so many great moments in that episode with seeing Kanan being a clone that a Jedi they let go away, seeing Omega introduced, seeing Saw Gerrera, setting up that Crosshair gets turned evil and amplified his chip. Like, I really loved all that showed up in that episode, and it really set up a great momentum for the series, where we kind of had a little bit, couple slow episodes, then we had some big plot developments, and we get some really good cameos with characters. I'd say the pacing was really good for the series. I mean, we were saying that after the first episode, it was like first second, third, and fourth episode were a little bit slower, but then once we started getting past that, it really picked up pace, and the pace in the series was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I think it was pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a few episodes that felt kind of long, so I was like, okay. But it's kind of funny. There was not one weak episode whatsoever. I said this in every single one of our reviews. No episode I thought, well, that sucked. And honestly, there have been a few of those in Clone Wars where I absolutely was like, this is dumb. None of these.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. If every single episode had something really good, had some important, or at least if it didn't have like a big plot reveal moment, it's still the characters carried the episode, and really great seeing them bounce off each other. The dynamic of the Bad Batch is so great. The Wrecker, like lovable, strong guy, but he has more complex emotions than that. He's trying to do things. He has that relationship with Omega. Seeing Omega like really look up to her like older brothers and trying to learn from them, copy them. Hunter trying to figure out what they're doing in the galaxy, but he's like always trying to do what's best for the team. And sometimes he even like hurts Omega's feelings because he's trying to protect her, and he has to learn to bring in the what's it called? Bring her along, even if it's kind of dangerous, right? Make her part of the team. I seeing Echo's perspective on everything, because he's a reg, but he's always a bit jaded. He's always like a bit of a downer because he's been through so much, and he's just trying to.
Well, that's an understatement.
I know, right? He's just trying to, hey, we need to be doing what's, we gotta like fight with Rex, or we gotta make something important. We gotta be careful. He's always kind of like a bit of a downer, but he's, he has that perspective he brings to the team, and obviously Tech is just,
he is so good. I love where like Omega's like, what was the Clone Wars like? He's like, well, the Clone Wars was a series of battles fought between this state and he just gives us the dictionary.com definition.
Yeah. He's like reading Wikipedia.
It's like real quick. Let's do like a retrospective of Echo. He starts off as a shiny clone. His base gets destroyed. He becomes an ARC trooper. He gets blown up, then turned into a cyborg.
Yeah. Cyborg. He gets turned to a cyborg and connected to a computer and used as basically as a external hard drive for them to get enemy battle plans from. And then he gets finally freed. And then he's, and then all the clones get taken over by Order 66, and now he's on a fugitive run.
Yeah.
He's been through so much.
Yeah, he's the only one though, but where I'm like, the helmet like design makes no sense the way he gets it on, considering he has that band around the back of his head. I'm like, how the hell does that work?
Yeah, so I really love that you brought that up, because so many people were joking about that. Like, how does it work? Because they never showed it from the back. But I forget what episode it was. It was like in the second half of the season. They actually showed a pitch scene of him from the back, and how it works. You can look up the clip. Is that the lower part of the helmet there that looks like a band actually like pops out, like looks like on a little rail, and then it automatically like seals back up as it puts the helmet fully on. So
that makes sense, because I was like, okay, this looks weird, but then it was like, oh, okay, and then now that you mention it, now it makes sense.
Yeah, it was funny though, because a lot of people were joking like, well, how does it fit? Because he has that.
Yeah, I guess the back of the thing would be like constantly knocking.
Yeah, exactly, right. But that was great. I love seeing so many great moments with Omega acquiring different, items. Like she got like, the energy crossbow that she was learning how to use. She's
a collector.
Yeah, she has her little doll that, that's painted like a Bad Batch member for a clone trooper. That was really, I love that.
Essentially, every time she grabbed something, what kept flashing in my head is General Grievous going, "This will make a fine addition to my collection."
Exactly. Oh man.
Yeah.
That was great.
I just, it's kind of funny. I remember when the Bad Batch just started off as some dudes that showed up for the first 2 seasons of Clone Wars season 7. Yeah. And then they actually got like a crap ton of character development.
Right. Yeah, and they did a really great job of it, because we said, and I've seen other people mention, like Star Wars Explained, they're a pretty big YouTube channel. Alex on there, he was saying that the characters did feel a bit stereotyped in the Clone Wars arc that we watched, with the Bad Batch. And that's what we said also, that they felt like, Wrecker's the strong guy, Hunter's like, the leader, and it felt a bit off, but they did a great job with making them have more dynamic characters. Mm-hmm. Yeah, making them, they're not just like a single archetype. They actually were, more to them than that. And this series did a great job.
I also very much liked how in the beginning it was switching back between the Bad Batch and Crosshair when he was like leading the Dark Trooper squad, and they just murk that entire like women and children area, because it shows like
the children the children left. The children left. Like, the little family left.
It shows this is not the Republic. Oh no. No. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed that Vader didn't show up once, or they didn't even reference, or even an Inquisitor, but I guess there's no reason to, because it's not a Jedi. And why would Vader be hunting the Bad Batch?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see Vader soon enough, I'm sure. But
how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet Tano is going to show up in season 2?
That's true. We could definitely see Ahsoka Tano show up, right? Because she was an important character, and we showed Rex, right? So
That's gonna be a Jared prediction. In season 2, we will see Ahsoka Tano. I'm making that prediction.
mhm.
And you think maybe they'll retcon that a few of the council members actually survived and are in hiding, like a certain purple lightsaber wielding person that took a bit of a tumble in episode 3.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me he didn't use the force to cushion his fall. They do that all the freaking time.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sure you can find a compilation on YouTube of them doing just that.
Yeah. Maybe you need both hands to do it.
No, I've seen them do it with one hand. Let me put it this way, if Anakin can stop a ship or like a giant ass rock from hitting him by doing this, I'm pretty sure Windu can at least like use the force to like move a platform so he can land on it.
Yeah.
There's no way he. I would be very surprised if they confirm that he's dead, because that would be like the most weenie way for Mace Windu, galactic badass, to go down.
Right.
Even Samuel Jackson is like, to me, he's alive.
Yeah,
That's
it's funny that he's like, I'm alive, you know?
Yeah, here's the story. You know why Mace has a purple lightsaber? Because Samuel Jackson was like, can I have this lightsaber purple? And George was like, okay, that's the story.
That's great. Oh, man.
So what cameos do you want to see for season 2?
Well, you know, who's at the top of the list is, okay, the top of the list is definitely Hondo Ohnaka. I need to see Hondo.
Yes, that's
Hondo.
top of my list. That is the top of my, because he showed up in practically every Star Wars thing, so you might as well.
Yeah.
And yes, I want Hondo. He's my number 1.
Yeah, Hondo, I want to show up. My friends, you know?
He shows up in Rebels, for frick's sake.
Yeah, I want to see him.
Ezra?
You know, he's
Well,
smuggling.
Ezra would be kind of Sabine. I want to see some Mandalorians. That's what I want to see really a lot.
Okay, yeah, that's something they definitely have avoided specifically. We didn't see anything about Mandalorians in this season. I wonder if we'll get to see a little bit of that. You know, see what's going on.
Because you think they would have. You think they would have, considering how we're dealing with like the not so lawful part of the galaxy, and a lot of Mandalorians are bounty hunters. So you'd think we would have seen one guy with armor walking around.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
It's like all of a sudden we see Bo-Katan.
Right. Yeah.
Or just a kid. A kid runs by. It's like the Bad Batch lands on this planet, and then it's like, oh, it was raised, and the Mandalorians were only able to save one kid.
Oh no! Oh.
And his name happened to be Din.
Yep. Din
Do you
Djarin.
Real quick, do you think it's gonna be a big time jump?
Okay, yeah, that's something we need to mention. Like, will there be a time jump? Because in season 1, all the episodes were kind of back to back. Like it was
mostly.
Clone Wars would jump around. It could be a couple days later, a week later. Like most shows do that.
Because the Clone Wars is like 3 years, right?
Right. And a lot of these episodes were actually like, well, the next day, or following right after this, and it was like kind of like one long narrative, right after Order 66. So the question is, they kind of made it to a good stopping point here, where Crosshair isn't going to be hunting them down, the Empire is going to hunt them down, they're free, they have no debt, they just need to discover what their purpose is in the galaxy that's changing. I feel like we could see a time jump. Like, there's no reason that we could. I wonder, will they continue right afterwards, and just say, hey, that couple weeks later, then this event happens? Or will they do like a 1-2 year time jump, just something small, so Omega's a little bit older? Or do they do a big time jump and do like 5 years?
I think they do a time jump and then put Omega in Bad Batch armor.
I'd love to see that.
They kept building that up.
Yeah.
And then that way they can have like the Bad Batch fighting stormtroopers, because they're not fighting clone troopers anymore. And maybe they'll use a setting on their guns other than stun, because they have them on stun in the most like inappropriate times. They're being shot up by stormtroopers. You're not fighting clones. Shoot the bastards.
I guess now that we aren't gonna be seeing as many clones around, they may turn off the stun.
I mean, there's no reason to. I'm like,
no.
what are you guys doing? You're in the middle of a war. That's like going into Afghanistan with an airsoft gun.
Oh no. Yeah, I kind of wonder what they're gonna do with that.
Drop in the comments if you think it's annoying that the Bad Batch were on stun the whole time.
And they're gonna be killing their brothers that are being mind controlled.
No, but I mean, even when they're fighting the stormtroopers, I'm like, they're not clone troopers. You just verified that.
I guess.
The Commandos I can get, but when the stormtroopers are cornering them, you're telling me they don't decide to like shoot?
You're right. They should have shot Scorch and killed him.
They wouldn't have been able to because Scorch has energy shields. That's one thing they didn't really necessarily show in the Bad Batch or Clone Wars. The Commandos actually have an energy shield, kind of like Halo.
Oh, okay. It makes
I would
sense.
have loved to show that.
He took a lot of hits. Remember, he took like.
That's
a lot
what
of
I
hits,
think it was. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I think that was.
Right. No, that's really interesting.
Here's wait, one more.
Yeah.
My number 3 celebrity cameo is the rest of Delta Squad. Just show me the rest of them, please.
The rest of Delta Squad. Yeah.
Now, what were you gonna say?
So, okay, my number 2. That I'm very. It's not a joke pick. I'm very serious about this. Okay, guys. Like, I need to see Jar Jar Binks in Bad Batch. I told you this. We talked about it before. Though. I'm serious about this. Okay. Because I know people like to hate on Jar Jar from
because he's annoying. That's why.
He's not annoying. Okay, he's Misa not annoying. Misa just clumsy.
You were banished because you're clumsy.
Not exactly. But yes, he is kind of annoying, but I actually really kind of thought he was funny, and I liked him, and he was only in really episode 1 and barely in 2 and 3, but in Clone Wars, he actually had a couple episodes that he
did a decent amount of things. I'll give you that.
The Bombad bounty, like he helped with the supply run with Master Angundai and on Ryloth. Remember that episode? And
where he's supposed to like bring a diplomat to negotiate for Obi-Wan, and he's like a general, and the clones are like, "Oh, good lord!"
Yeah, and remember when he teamed up with Mace Windu in that one episode, and later on, like,
when was that?
It was in the Disappeared. It was a later episode. It was in season 6. Yeah, but
season 6. I do not remember that one.
Yeah, it's the one where I told you where Disappeared Part 1, Disappeared Part 2. The only time they did it in Clone Wars where they didn't give them separate titles. We'd have to go back and review it. But
yeah, we'll do that.
Jar Jar had a good story arc throughout that. Remember the Gungan War with the Mon Calamari people and the Squid Face people?
That makes sense because who are you close friends with that happens to be a water dude?
Right. And he came there and helped them. And I very much remember the episode where Grievous came to Naboo. Remember he was trying to negotiate with the Gungans that joined the Separatists, and they sent Jar Jar to pretend to be the king or the leader, and he's having that very serious talk with Grievous, and Jar Jar's like, we said no one to have alliance anymore, and Grievous is at the table. He's like, it cost a lot of money to bring my whole army here. It'd be a shame to make them all leave. And it's like a very tense situation, and Jar Jar's handling it. But right after
that, sounds kind of hilarious. I'll give you that.
He gets out of the situation, and remember the Gungans shut down his whole army. So it was literally just the Gungans versus Grievous. And remember, General Tarpless 1v1s Grievous, and actually like does a big blow against him before he dies. And the Gungans actually captured Grievous. That never happened. The entire Clone Wars, Grievous always escapes.
Dude, this is not an argument about whether the Gungans are cool. It's about Jar Jar showing up.
Okay. But
I'll give you that. That does sound dope. Jar Jar in negotiations with General Grievous. That actually,
Yeah.
I need to watch that episode.
You need to watch it again because he distracted them while they shut down his army. So I'm just saying, Jar Jar is, he's the senator for Naboo. I kind of want to know what happens to him, post episode 3, especially because, he gave emergency powers to Palpatine. So does he get a promotion? Like maybe Palpatine promotes him because.
Does Palpatine really seem like the type of person to give more power to people?
I mean, he hasn't.
Particularly Jar Jar Binks.
Look, he hasn't dissolved the Senate yet. I was joking before, but I'm serious.
I am the Senate.
He hasn't dissolved them yet. Not yet.
I guarantee you there was a moment off screen during Clone Wars involving Jar Jar and Sheev when Jar Jar leaves and Palpatine's like, can I just lightning this guy now? This plan is not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, look, Senator Amidala died. She died. So they're going to need a new senator for Naboo. It'd be kind of interesting. Like, what if Jar Jar gets promoted for representative to the senator of Naboo? Maybe Palpatine would help with that promotion, because remember Tarkin kept getting promotions. Remember, Tarkin was following along with Vader and Palpatine. Tarkin kept getting promoted to Grand Moff. So I was joking before, but Jar Jar could be an important person. I want to see him show up.
All right. I have a plot line for Jar Jar. It may be a little out there, but here's the plot for Jar Jar. So at one point, he gets sent to a desert planet. Now, hear me out on this.
Okay.
He meets a little slave child, and then they end up falling in love for no reason. And then the slave child ends up becoming a Sith Lord and killing him. Oh, wait, we've done that before.
Oh, man.
Apparently being the center of Naboo is just bad luck.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait.
A subplot is that he's returning to Coruscant. He lands, then all of a sudden it looks like he dies when the ship explodes, but it turns out that was a double.
Oh, yeah. Jar Jar becomes the main villain for season 2.
He's Darth Plagueis the whole time.
Yeah.
Palpatine never killed him. He got turned into a Gungan.
I mean, like, we don't have to see many big capacity, but I'd love if they went, they could show, Bad Batch could go to Naboo to one episode, and I'd love to see Jar Jar in it, in some way or another, but other than that, I don't know any other characters that would be like top favorites I want to see show up again. I don't know, like, who else could we? I mean, okay. There's one thing we want to talk about. We still want to see Zillo Beast. We want to see them use.
I want to see the result of that because they said, you want me to clone the monster?
Yeah, I want to see something
just
like
leave that. That's a pretty big plot hole to leave.
And Rebels never did anything with it. Rebels never used the Zillo Beast plot line, so it's still kind of out there. What they're trying to do with that, right? So,
yeah, exactly. That's like free money. Come on, guys. That would be super, because they already had them like rescue a Rancor.
Yeah,
which was awesome, by the way.
The Bad Batch gets like a small Zillo Beast that's like on the ship with them, like a pet.
And they call him Zillo.
Yeah. Oh boy.
That becomes Omega's mount. She's on its back with the electric bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Onward to battle.
Yes. So something we need to talk about a little bit is the final scene from Bad Batch season 1. Something that we had some questions about when it aired, because we saw, Crosshair is assigned to stay with the Empire, the Bad Batch leaves, and we get a small end scene where the shuttle carrying Lama Nala Se is taken to this foresty planet. We saw the scene, and she's greeted by some medical officers that look very familiar, their markings and their outfits, and they say that they really admire her, genetic work, her genetic cloning work, and they're going to use her there. And that's all we're told. We're not told a planet name. We're not given any other description of what's going on. We just see a giant mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what happened next. A couple days after that aired, that episode, we got the episode guide on StarWars.com, and they revealed what planet they were on.
What planet?
The art guide for the episode revealed that the planet they went to is Wayland. Wayland, yes. And more importantly, the mountain they went to is called Mount Tansis, which Mount Tantis. And that's a really big deal because that is a really big thing in the Heir to the Empire trilogy, the Thrawn trilogy of books. Way back, the first, basically after the Star Wars movies aired, there are a couple novels, but the Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn is some of the best storytelling in Star Wars at the time. Like these books, the Heir to the Empire, and the Thrawn trilogy in general, continued the storyline of Episode 6 and showed that a great general, Grand Admiral Thrawn, was going to have this great plan to bring the Empire back in control. And
so it's basically a what if story of what if the sequel trilogy didn't suck.
Because technically these are non-canon anymore, but they are obviously doing something with this storyline because Mount Tansis in this novel, The Last Command, in this novel, we kind of get to learn more about Mount Tansis. And it's actually a secret storehouse for Emperor Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine always has a backup plan on top of his backup plans. And this Mount Tansis on Wayland was an Imperial storehouse. And he actually kept lots of, dangerous secrets in there, but also cloning machines. And he kept these cloning machines that could actually create clones very, very fast. Like he could create clones within a year and they'd be fully grown, super accelerated cloning technologies. And also he had technology for ships that could turn invisible basically and be hidden from view.
So like the cloaking ship from that episode of Clone Wars.
Right, something like that. Very, very, very advanced technology, very secretive. And in this storyline for the Heir to the for the Thrawn trilogy, we see Grand Admiral Thrawn go to this hidden storeroom, Mount Tansis, and they find this cloning technology, and they actually encounter an evil Sith or a crazed clone Jedi that's protecting the whole place. And there's a whole crazy story that happens with
they cloned a Jedi.
Yeah, they cloned a Jedi. And actually in this storyline, the final battle, actually Luke fights against an evil clone of himself in the storyline.
Oh, that is dope.
His name, the evil clone's name is Luke Skywalker.
Okay, I take it back. That is dumb. I take it back. That is dumb as hell. What were you thinking?
It's Luke with 2 U's.
Who thought this was a good idea?
I know, it's really funny. And the evil Jedi is also his name is just 2 vowels, longer than the actual original Jedi. It's Jorah Seaboth or something like that. So there's a lot of weird stuff.
Why is it that whenever they clone a character, their idea of a clone name is just the same name but with more vowels? And they just extend it. That's like if they were to that's like instead of Ben Reilly, they call it Peter Parker.
Okay,
no.
Okay,
It's this. Peter Parker.
Oh boy, I know. There was it was some controversial stuff in it, but okay. So this is where we find that that's the backstory from the Thrawn trilogy. Now we get to see the connection here. The Mount Tantus is this, this pivotal location in this trilogy that's, about Thrawn.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
my camera's having trouble.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, you're just the logo now.
And now, wait, and now the fans can see the new awesome logo. Thank you, Tyler. All right, go on, lad.
There you go. The Thrawn trilogy showed Thrawn having a big master plan to bring back the Empire into prominence, and it showed that Mount Tantus had cloning technology and secrets that would help him defeat the New Republic. And now we get to see Mount Tantus in the new canon, and we see that they are obviously doing some sort of genetic research or cloning research at Mount Tantus, and they're bringing Nala Se there to help them. So obviously they're setting something up. They're obviously doing something cloning related at Mount Tantus. So
that's why they brought her there.
Right. And in addition to that, we see the medical staff there, with the logo and like the uniform. She looks like she's dressed the same way that Imperial scientist was in The Mandalorian. That guy with the round glasses that was protecting the child. That also, Gideon's staff that we see there, that he looks very similar, and he's involved in cloning. And we saw that, on that Imperial storehouse, that they're doing some cloning stuff, and they want Grogu's blood for something. I wonder, my theory is that they're setting something up, like in Bad Batch. We're going to get some hints of it, but I think they're trying to tie this story of the Bad Batch into The Mandalorian, that they are doing some sort of big cloning technology that surpasses what the Kaminoans did, and that it's going to tie into Thrawn. That, we saw a Thrawn name drop in The Mandalorian, and so obviously Ahsoka is going to tie into that post episode 6. I really wonder if, the Bad Batch is setting something up for Mandalorian, and we're going to see Thrawn big time doing something like he did in the Thrawn trilogy, because we see cloning technology and Mount Tantus being set up, and it's connected to the Mandalorian with the uniform that they're all wearing and Thrawn showing up. We really could be seeing an adaptation of the Thrawn trilogy novels into The Mandalorian at some point, and Bad Batch is going to help with that.
So you're telling me it looks like what Filoni is doing with like this and the remake of Knights of the Republic is that he's doing what the fans want him to, recanonizing all the good stuff.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're going to try to bring back some of the stuff into canon,
which I hated the way Lucasfilm did it, because they just willy-nilly said this whole stuff doesn't matter anymore. What they should have done was gone through and actually done an analysis and see what do fans like, what they not like, and then taken away things they don't like. Mm-hmm. That's it, because we would have still had Revan. Can you imagine what they could do? I still think at some point in Mandalorian, they'll reference Revan, and that's how it'll be canon. Because if there's one Jedi / Sith / like non-affiliated person that should be associated with a Mandalorian show, it's this guy. Mm. All you have to do is, they don't even have to call him Revan. Just say there was a Jedi who fought us, turned to the Sith, and then became redeemed. That's it.
Right.
That's literally all.
You're right.
But anyway, I digress. It's not about Revan. Can you imagine if they throw a curveball and Revan's in a flashback and they do that, except it's when the Bad Batch goes to Mandalore.
Right. I mean, obviously we're seeing here, in this, expanded material in the animated shows and the live action shows, they are bringing material back into canon. I really wonder when we're going to get to see something like Old Republic.
They're going to have, because Filoni knows that let me put it this way. I think that the remake of Knights of the Old Republic is a test. They're testing the waters to see, do today's fans like the Old Republic era? If they do, guess what's canon?
Exactly.
And then I guarantee you we'll see oh, Knights of the Old Republic like animated show, or like what they should do if they do an animated series on this time period, they should do it on the Mandalorian Wars. Make it a Revan show, except it's taking place during the Mandalorian Wars, and it ends when he becomes a Sith. Because that way you can go from the show to the games.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome.
And they have Keanu Reeves voice Revan because there's been conjecture that he would make a good Revan in the movies.
Yeah, I think he could do a good job with that.
Can you imagine if they didn't do a sequel trilogy, if they just made those books, okay, here's what happens after, it's just those books. And then the next Star Wars movies were just this.
Mm-hmm. That'd be really cool.
Or they could just do a Disney Plus series like Mandalorian. There you go.
Right.
There you go, bro. They're doing a freaking Book of Boba.
Yeah, Book of Boba. Hey, obviously people really like The Mandalorian, so why not?
Yep. Guarantee you, at one point, somehow, in Mandalorian is the most likely one, but at some point we'll start hearing references to a Jedi from Mandalorian Wars who turned. In other words, they're going to start doing it. They already kind of did it in the episode 9 with that one legion of Sith troopers called I think it's called the Revan Legion.
Yeah, right.
But they haven't actually. If they have his mask in the background, just as a background detail, that's it. We're good. We're good.
That'd be so cool.
All right. Anyway, okay. So go back to Bad Batch. Closing thoughts. Amazing series. I always said I wanted a series exclusively for the clones' perspective, and like we got a Clone Commando series, and it did not disappoint in any way. I remember I thought Omega was going to be a really annoying character because she seemed kind of annoying in the first episode, but she tried to be one of the best characters.
I know, yeah. They handled her really well. They did a really great job with her, making her not be like an annoying, sidekick, but she actually developed as her own character, and she did a really great job, honestly.
Yeah, because I remember when she was first introduced, I was like, oh God, here comes the Bad Batch version of Rey. But no, she was actually really good. And they didn't make her all powerful.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't Captain Marvel her, in other words.
Right. And I thought it was kind of interesting how they kind of tricked us a little bit with Omega, where they made it seem like, she kind of understood people's feelings. So they kind of made it seem like, oh, is she force sensitive or what's going on with her? And they really kept kind of people wondering, is she a Palpatine clone? What's going on? But then we got the full explanation where she is a pure genetic clone of Jango, and basically Boba's twin brother at that. And she doesn't seem to be force sensitive, but she just understands people's emotions pretty well. She really connects with people. So I thought they did a good job, kind of a little bit teasing us, making us think a little bit, but then gave us some answers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I was very concerned that they'd make this, okay, she's the one that's going to save them the whole time, but actually it was the complete opposite. All right, now, who was your least favorite character?
Ooh, least favorite
I'm gonna answer that in a trick question. There was none.
There is
everyone they used, in my opinion, was perfectly used, including Rex, because it wasn't like he takes over the show. Because if he joined the Bad Batch, it would become the Rex show.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I think you're right. Yeah, I don't know who could even classify as a bad character. Honestly, every single episode, the characters they focused on were really great. I know some people even complained. Some people didn't like the, was it basically the alien episode with all the creatures down the cave? I
love that episode. You kidding me? That was a sci-fi horror episode. It's like when they did that episode in the Geonosis arc. That was great. Right.
Yeah, I enjoyed that episode a lot, and I know some people say that that's the lower point of the series. I liked it, but I would say even that guy, I forget his name, the Deveronian, the yellow dude. I really liked him too. Yeah, he did
because he showed. I'm sorry. Go.
No. You're explaining it perfectly. Explain it.
Because what it showed is, So the overall theme of Bad Batch, I have to establish that to give context, is that there's a moral gray area in the galaxy, and there always has been, but now we're seeing it highlighted. That's why I freaking love this show. A little more than Clone Wars in this respect. I still like Clone Wars more, but in this respect, I like Bad Batch more. Because in Clone Wars, it was too much like black or white, except for a few episodes where they showed the moral gray area.
Right.
This one freaking put it straight up there. And then it freaking showed not everyone's all bad or all good. And then with that Deveronian, however the hell you pronounce his alien name, what that was showing is that, all right, not when you first see him, you think he's like the typical mob boss and everything.
Yeah.
But you don't realize it's because A, he's being coerced by the Pikes, and two, it's because it's like a family thing. He's trying to prove him. They humanized all the criminals.
Yeah, right. And they kind of show him, they give him mercy, right? They she sticks her neck out to them and tries to save him, and then we kind of see him be affected by that and kind of changes the character where he kind of wonders maybe I shouldn't be doing all this mob boss stuff. He feels a bit questioning himself a little bit, so kind of they bring the best out of everyone else, even though some of the bad people, right?
Plus one more thing, they just revealed a little bit about Deveronian culture. Apparently, if you take off a horn, that's big shame, because why else would the Pikes do it? It's not just that they decided we're just going to chop off a horn.
Right. Yeah, I think
that is something to do with honor, right?
Yeah, that definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love this show so much. That one season, they significantly expanded the lore of Star Wars so much.
Yeah, right. And they they did a really good job using their episodes. And I'm so glad it wasn't just 10 episodes or 13 episodes, but 16 episodes was, I think, just enough that I felt like there was a lot of food on the plate. It was a lot of material. I felt, obviously more is better, but I felt 16 was, just enough that it felt great, felt action-packed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All the episodes, I'm going to say that, I'm going to make that argument, felt important. There was no filler episode. That was the problem with the Martez sisters arc in Clone Wars. It was too long. So you could have cut 2 of those episodes out and still had the story. That was too much filler. This one was this. We need these in order to tell these. It's like having a comic book where every single issue directly contributes significantly to the overall plot they're trying to tell.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's really great. And I wonder for season 2, are we going to look at another 16 episode season, or maybe seeing the success, they'll actually expand that to even more? I don't know.
Now I'm fine with them expanding it, because season 1 really is an experiment. They want to see, is this going to catch on? Because remember, the Bad Batch are new characters.
Right.
So they want to see, are people going to really connect with them? So at this point, they're probably oh yeah, I would say Disney's make as many as you need, Filoni. You have free reign.
Right. So kind of closing thoughts here. Where do you think we're going? Not necessarily the time jump angle, but just where do you think we're going to see the characters go now? Because we saw, the effects of the Empire taking over. We see Camino destroyed, no new clones. We kind of have some questions lingering.
Not necessarily no new clones.
Well,
not necessarily no new clones, just no new clones from Camino.
That's true, I guess, yeah.
Because remember, they evacuated all the staff and the cloning material out before they blew it up.
Well, that's true.
Do you really think the Empire would leave behind an asset like cloning technology?
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, I just wonder, where do you think we're heading now?
All right.
Because, we have, Hunter saying that they're kind of just, going on the run, but Echo has a really great point where maybe we should be helping with the revolution. We always,
Bingo.
Rex is doing something. Rex is contacting people, talking, making battle strategies. We have Hauser seeing that side where some clones are rebelling against their programming now, after, a little bit after Order 66 happened. We got to see, how's Omega fit into things? Is she just going to be back to normal, or are there going to be people that try to find her now because it does have the the pure clone code. Maybe that'll come in handy again for something.
Okay, so the way I see this happening is, all right, they're gonna either continue building two or do the Clone Rebellion. That's happening.
Right, that's true. That's so what was your two things? Clone Rebellion or what?
Clone Rebellion. I think we're gonna start seeing some surviving surviving Jedi. Maybe Kanan will show up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we're actually gonna. I don't think the Clone Rebellion is going to be one event. I think what's going to be, I was thinking about this today. I think it's going to be the whole season. Like it's going to be like what Rebels was with the birth of the rebellion. It was just a couple of hit and run battets.
Yeah.
Each episode is a mission, and then it culminates. The last episode of the season is that final battle.
That's a pretty cool idea. Like it was extended over a couple things. I like that idea actually. That's nice idea. Where they're trying to it's not just like one event at the very end of the season, but it's like something that kind of progresses throughout it, right?
Yeah, and then it gets to that one climactic battle at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. That'd be kind of interesting.
How about you, dude?
I mean, I guess that's what I'm thinking. Also, something along those lines where they are gonna maybe try to help their fellow brothers out. We saw them rescue Crosshair, or come to terms with Crosshairs. Remember, Hunter felt a bit guilty about leaving Crosshair behind. When he saw how Hauser was willing to stand up for his men, and he was questioning, like, maybe we should have gone back for Crosshair. And, there were other moments where he was trying to consider how we don't leave anyone behind, right? We take, we have to bring everyone with us. And I wonder, are we going to see, Hunter saying, maybe our mission is to go out there and try to free other brothers out there, right? And they know that Hauser was able to break past his will, and Crosshair was able to be freed from it also by getting his chip removed. They know that they can remove the chips anyway, so maybe their mission is going to become to free as many of their clone brothers as they can, and that involves learning stuff from Rex and or something.
I think also what's going to lead to is them trying to broadcast like a message to every clone, like throughout some kind of PA system, like the Star Wars internet, and then it basically says, it basically is Hauser's speech saying, guys, this is not okay what we're doing here.
Yeah.
This is not what we were made to do.
Right.
Because you saw a fair amount of clones were very not okay with what was going on with the Empire.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You're right. So I think we're definitely going to see something along those lines. They also set up some of those questions we're going to have to find answers to. So
yeah. All right, so that's a great place to end it. And again, fantastic series. They did a fantastic job with it. Loved it so much. I did not expect to enjoy this series that much, bro. I was like, okay, it's going to be another. It did not feel like a Clone Wars skin. That's one more thing I want to say. It did not just feel, it felt like a continuation of Clone Wars without being a clone of Clone Wars, if you will. It was his own show, but it was a sequel to Clone Wars, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It's really great. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of Star Wars fans really enjoyed the series. It really played into some deep lore and storylines, and I think a lot of people, grew up watching Clone Wars, really enjoyed the maturity of the show.
I saw the movie in theaters.
Yeah,
my friend Logan, he's been on the show. He's on the Halo show with us. Yeah, we saw it in the theaters after playing Battlefront for an entire day. And then he came over and we watched the premiere together. They premiered the episode with Yoda. That was called, I think it's called Jedi Hunt. And then they did the first in the Malevolence arc. It was like a back-to-back. That was
Yeah.
the first time I've ever heard Plo Koon speak, and I was like, oh, he talks.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, Clone Wars started such an awesome era, and Bad Batch really can, it's a continuation, but it's also its own thing, and it plays in a new territory that we get to see what happens after the Clone Wars. And I think it's going to be a really good show going forward. I mean, if it can continue with this level of quality, it'd be insane. But it's actually going to get better because every animated show always gets even better as they progress through the series.
And have you noticed how there's not been a bad Star Wars or any fandom show on Disney Plus? They've all been like home runs. Like What If is fantastic, by the way. I'm gonna do the tomorrow. I'll be reviewing the zombie episode, by the way. Keep up for that. And then freaking Bad Batch, Mandalorian. It's like I think that what they're doing now is they're revitalizing love for Star Wars, because ever since the sequel trilogy, that's been in short supply.
Hey, I like this, Raylo.
Don't make me kick you from the Zoom call, lad. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode, Knights of Mandalore. We're back. We're still figuring out what episode topics you want to do. I have a couple of ideas, and then the website's incoming. And we're gonna do we have lots of great content planned for you guys. It should be a fun time. And we're still working on finalizing a consistent schedule, because Lad and I are students. So we're still trying to figure out how to balance this in school, but we're going to have a schedule. We'll take care of that. It's going to be like regular. It's just we're trying to find a good balance here. All right. See you guys tomorrow for Under Two Capes. By the way, the next 2 weeks for Under Two Capes, we'll be revisiting the Snyder Cut. Why? Because it came out on DVD. That's right. You can hold it. And next week, I will have a guest on to talk about the movie.
That's right.
And we're getting back to the Republic again.
It's gonna be so great.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend, and I will see you guys on Friday.
See ya.
Remember, hand shot first.
McClunky.